I'm a Forester here with the video response to Such's video where he asked what was the very first handgun that you ever fired. Well, the very first handgun that I ever fired is in this box, and it's been in this box probably since the early 1970s. It was made for me by a friend, an older gentleman who lived nearby in western North Carolina. It's an oldie. This is a .45 caliber black powder pistol. It was made by the gentleman named Wayne from a kit that he purchased, and he handmade some of the tools that went into this. Let's take a look at some of the gear. This is what we used for patch material. This is probably an old pair of blue jeans that I wore when I was a teenager, but that's how we made our patches. Let's see, here's the black powder. This is still almost full. And we used an old shell casing to measure the right amount of black powder. Let's see, here are the caps that we used. I think I still got a good number of them. Now these go on the gun. The hammer strikes the cap, and then the cap provides the spark then to ignite the black powder. I think I still have a pretty good supply of musket balls. Yeah, I think I have about 20 or so. These can do some damage if they hit you. The problem with these black powder guns without rifling is hitting what you aim at. And then here's some parts that Wayne, I know he handmade, and so these bring back some memories. But this is the starter and a hammer that you start the musket ball at the muzzle of the gun. And then this is the ramrod that you use to drive it home. Yep, it brings back a lot of memories with this gun, and memories of shooting this gun, but also of going to the shooting matches with Wayne. Wayne was an interesting fellow. He was, like I say, an older gentleman. He loved shooting. He was the local expert on muzzle-loading rifles. And the problem was he loved to go to the competitions around western North Carolina, but he didn't have a driver's license and didn't know how to drive. And so he solved that problem by adopting a local teenager. He would teach the teenager all about guns, proper operation of muzzle loaders, and in return the teenager would drive him, would be his chauffeur to take him to the different shooting matches. I was that teenager for several years, and I actually got pretty good shooting Wayne's muzzle loaders. I know one year at the shooting match at Cataloochee, I actually placed second in a competition. I think that's probably the best that I ever did. Let me hold this up and see if the camera will focus on it. But the way a competition worked is you would pay for each target, and you fired 3 times at each target. But this particular year, my second or third target was really pretty good, and I thought it had a good chance of winning the competition for my age group. And so I stopped shooting to save money. And there was one individual in particular who was determined to take first place. He was a Cherokee Indian teenager, and he fired all day long. I don't know how much money he spent, but his last target of the day topped mine, and he took first place and moved me down to second. But I still have a lot of good memories of the competitions and of shooting with Wayne. Such, I appreciate your asking the question, because it got me to thinking what was the very first handgun that I had ever fired. And I remembered this gun. I had stored it away in this box and hadn't seen it in quite a few years, and so I found it out, found where I had stored it, pulled it out, and it's brought back a lot of good memories. I appreciate you asking the question, and I appreciate all the quality videos that you put out. I really enjoy watching them. Take care.